Hey there. I hope you're all doing well. It's been a minute since I've had the time to really focus on sharing a video, and it's given me a lot of time to really think of things. And there's so much that I wish that I could take from here and give to here in a simple way. But life isn't simple, right? And our journeys aren't simple. They're all unique. Like that fingerprint once again. But I've been able to experience freedom in a way that I can never convey into words what it feels like. And it starts with choices, right? So it starts with, all of the things that ever happened to me as a child and, through my decades of life. And the freedom of choice is way more valuable than the freedom of no debt. All right. So there's all different forms of freedom, but the freedom of choice has really brought me to a place of overwhelming gratitude. Right. So I'm currently right now sitting on the most beautiful green lawn with the most magical green trees in Massachusetts. And I've been able to reconnect with some super, super important people in my life and some magical angels that I never realized at the time were my magical angels. And it's just been so incredibly special. I had coffee this morning with somebody that I knew so long ago, and now to be able to share time and the freedom to really see her and to be seen is just so special. I had a really nice dinner the other night with a social worker that helped me through when I had baby Joey, who's now known as Nathan. And that was just such a magical experience because she remembers me as the single mom, homeless. So that was really kind of cool, and it's such a freedom to explore that decades later, right? I also had breakfast yesterday morning with the woman, Holly. Her and her husband, Mark, were the ones that took Billy and I in and, let us stay there with them while I was pregnant until I did give birth to Nathan. And I also had breakfast with my very best friend, Kathy, who's in my book and was just such an angel for me when I needed her the most. So it's so incredibly serendipitous. I don't even know it was even the right word. I spent some time with Billy's dad, my older son. We did some traveling and some hiking together out west and hit up Yosemite and Death Valley, and just so incredibly cool to know that this person who was so important in my life when I was a teenager and really just zero direction in my life, who stayed my family, through all the shitty times. He was still my family and always will be. So that was really super special. And we were able to go out to Nevada and visit our son and also my son Andrew and grandson Ryder. So, when I talk about freedom, right, it's not just the beauty of living in a country where we have the freedom to move around and we have the freedom to find food and we have the freedom to find shelter and we have the freedom to meet amazing people that are just these magical angels on our path. But we also have the freedom of choice, no matter where we're from or where we live. And that really is the greatest gift, right? So we can lock ourselves up, so to speak, and sit in our really oppressive mindset and feel like there's no out, like we're just hopeless. We can't make choices. Like I'm stuck in this miserable job. I'm stuck in this relationship. I'm stuck in this house or stuck in this apartment. And when you get to the point where you can actually realize, no, I am not stuck. These are choices that I've made. And it's really a harsh reality when you say to somebody, you are where you are because you choose to be. That's a shitty reality for a lot of us, but I'm going to tell you something. It's freaking true, right? No fluff. I say that to myself. You are where you are because you chose to be. And that very well could have been the 22-year-old homeless me with the 3-year-old. I made choices. It's not what was done. It was my choice to continue on the path that I did. So once I made a choice again to not continue on the path I was, all of those choices became my freedom. So it's very difficult to convey when somebody is really sitting deep and solid in something very difficult, traumatic. All of those things are really hard to breathe through. When you say to them The choices that you have made have led you to this space, and the choices that you make today will lead you to where you will be tomorrow. That's hard to swallow. And it may not be as simple as, well, I didn't choose to be broke. Okay, no, but you know what? You choose how you react to it. You choose how you react to the crap that might be slung in your corner. All right. So really think about that. Really give that a lot of thought, because guys, I just couldn't ever explain to you. And I hope you share this with people. Okay. You need to have conversations like this with people you love. All right. So it's really easy as a society. We tend to go, oh, wow, yeah, their life is just really horrible. I feel so bad. And then we just move on. You know what? We might not be able to change it, but we can say the words. I believe in you. You have the choice to change. Something that simple really could help somebody. So don't be afraid to share you. Don't be afraid to be authentic. Don't be afraid to grab a friend and say, you know what? I need somebody to listen to me right now. I've made some choices that have caused me to end up where I am right now, and I really want to move out of this. I want to make different choices. Can you help me? And your help isn't telling them what to do. I'm going to tell you that right now. Do not tell people what to do, because the shit will backfire. But hold space for them. Be quiet for them. Hold their hand. Get a pen and paper and hand it to them. And just let them know, I see you. I hear you. And you matter. All right? Because that's the greatest gift you can ever give. It really is. Now to the second part of this video. And if you're still watching, this is some really cool stuff that you can't even make up, right? If I was to ever fall asleep and have the most beautiful dream, I just lived it. So as you know, my son Nate, we found each other through 23andMe, and it's been 6-7 years now, and I've been able to not only have a relationship with him, but get to know his family. And I'm going to tell you something, guys. And it's okay to be emotional, because you know what? This is people, this is us, and we're showing up real. When I was 22 years old in a complete train wreck, and I had 5 families to choose from where my baby was going to go be with a new family, there was zero doubt in my mind that the family that I chose, without knowing who they were, no names, no pictures, nothing, who already had adopted 2 children, was exactly where he needed to be. Getting to know his family, like, I'm telling you something, this is like, no words. You know what? This is so magical that when gratitude shows up, it often shows up in just elephant freaking tears. And I tell you, I got to see him and his wife, Ashley. They eloped last year and they got married. And they had the most beautiful wedding reception this weekend in Massachusetts. So I was invited. And to be able to share watching him with the family he was always meant to have just brought me to a level that I could never probably reach again or explain. So watching him, his family is magical. Like when I tell you that his mom is probably one of the most important people that I've ever had in my life, because she did what I couldn't do. And the love that I have for her and her husband, Leo, like Patty and Leo are like really the top of the world for me. And getting a chance to meet Nathan's brother and his wife and family and their children and extended families and Ashley's family, I'm just sitting there like, holy crap. If somebody could pinch me right now, like, I never want to wake up from this dream. And I can't ever tell you that the choices that we make, we may never understand the depth of where those choices really are. And I think back to this 22-year-old messed up train wreck of a girl. I had no idea what I was doing, but I did know in my core that my baby deserved better than what I could give him. I needed to focus everything I had on my son, Billy. I needed to give him all of me, and I wasn't able to give all of me to two. So I made it very, very, one of the most beautiful, difficult decisions I've ever made in my life. There's no doubt about it. And I chose a family that I didn't know at the time that was called faith. What I did is I felt a really eerie confidence. I felt in my core, I know I'm making the right decision. And I had a social worker working with me who bless her heart, Nancy Webb, forever and ever and ever in my heart. Coletta Aberdale, forever and ever in my heart. Because those two women, they sat with me and they said, are you sure? Let's walk through this together. How do you feel not knowing if he ends up in an abusive family like you did? And I said, I don't know. But I do know this. These are the people. These are the people he needs to go to. I'm making the right decision. And I never, ever, ever wavered. I never had sleepless nights. I never wondered if he was okay. I knew in my heart he was exactly where he needed to be. Being able to spend this weekend and see them. I've met his family before and I've spent time with them on the beach. We had a beautiful Thanksgiving. But I'm going to tell you, knowing that the choice I made was this entire family, and Ashley and Aubrey and his mom and dad and brother and his best friends, Scott and Joe, that he was their world and is still their world. And that's really an overwhelming choice, right? I sit there and I go, my God, what if I had chose differently? It was never going to happen, because that was called faith. And I'm so grateful for that. And I'm really excited to share this with you, because I want you all to know that, some of the small choices, and that was a big one, of course, right? But the choices that we make have a butterfly effect that we may never even know. So that person that you pass, that you smile at, and that you ask, are you okay? And you actually wait for the answer. You don't just keep walking by, hey, how you doing? In eye contact, right? And you wait. That is the butterfly effect. You don't know it. You really don't ever know the people that you affect just by smiling and just by having a little bit of grace for and really caring about what their answer is. So, I hope that you share this with others. Have a conversation with your child, have a conversation with your loved ones, have a conversation with your neighbor, and just say, you know what, you matter to me. And I love to share space with you, and I want to hear you. And take time. Get off that damn treadmill, man. Get off the treadmill, because the brick wall is coming at you, right? Treadmill keeps on going, but that brick wall is going to eventually nail you if you don't take the time to see the beauty in every single blade of grass, every tree, every person, whether you know them or not. Just love fiercely. All right? I love you guys.